It's not the killing I'm about. It's the cause.
Welcome to Summoner's
We're gonna do this
Rift.
my way. Quick and deadly.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
They can't stop me. I mean, they can try.
Minions have spawned.
I am my own master. Just the way I like it. I got a pack full of trouble and nothing but time. No one tells me what to do. Not anymore. I'm not here to make friends. I love what I do. My enemies won't. I work alone. It's better for everyone. Cold steel and a target are all I need. The old ways just don't work. They can't stop me. I'm I am my own master, just the way I like it. Magic's fine. Steel's better. The Kinku couldn't control me. I do what they wouldn't.
First blood.
I got a pack full of trouble and nothing but time. No one can I'm not here to make friends. I love what I do. My enemies won't. There are over 300 pressure points on the human body. No one else. Take one life fast, clean. If they're smart, they're scared. I work alone. It's better for everyone. Cold steel and a target are all I need. The old ways just don't work. Forget balance. This is a reckoning. They can't stop me. I mean, they could try. I am my own master. The Fist of Shadow was my mom. I do things differently. I got a pack full of trouble and nothing. One rule that Restraint's not really my thing. I'm not here to make friends. I love what I do. My enemies won't. If they're smart, they're scared.
Hyper-aggressive here.
Yanko spent a long time down here, putting the Skittles down as Yaktor just dodges around, flashes away from the hook. And that is an easy enough escape. Yanko spent a huge amount of time down here. Mowgli just farmed up his jungle. Cap's actually getting towards that Scryer's bloom, means that he knows the blue buff is still up. And it's fine. You know, G2 are in a good position, about 1,000 gold ahead. Vitality have made some forays. They've struck in, they've stabbed a little bit on G2, but G2's armor seems to be holding strong.
Yeah, and it's now kind of where do they attack? Again, because Attila and Jack Troll are still having their summoners burned because G2 are sending Yankos down there a lot. Perks and Mickey, while it doesn't reflect in the scoreboard, are at least whittling down at these two.
Once again, Mickey caught out just a little bit. Windows Bite comes out, looking for concussive blows. There is the stopwatch. Dodges the Glacial Fisher with the stun. Oh, good flash from Mickey. Cullen goes into Perks. Mowgli on his way, but Yankos is just waiting around the corner.
And Perks, Mickey, and G2 have learned. You can see that they've got the dragon warded behind it, so it's much harder for Mowgli to use the same pathway that he used in the early game to try to punish this.
Can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results.
But with a Cabochard having TP, I think level 11 for the Rumble, or maybe if they're feeling really desperate, they try to pull the TP play now. I think Vitality have to force plays bottom. Either take the dragon, take the tower, force the Rumble TP, but they're kind of running out of time where their composition has kind of full steam and they can really abuse with this Braum Lucian.
We said it's an early game composition. Well, early game tends to end pretty quickly when you're playing against G2. Perks takes another chunk of damage there from the Lucian. Didn't really need to step up to the plate. But Mountain Drake goes over to Vitality. Still 200 gold between the two teams. I want to go back to that gold view after Caps fights against Jizuke here. If Ethereal Chains comes out, Caps jumps back forward. Holy moly. That's a lot of damage. Mowgli is actually in the bush. Jizuke dodging about Caps. Uses the second proc of the perfect execution. There is the redemption as well, and Caps is ignited. Jumps away. The Requiem isn't just enough. And Caps gets the heal from the Triumph as well.
And it is so devastating to deal with an Akali if she has any sort of kills when she also has a Karthus. And you saw it right there. Again, it's really going to be exploited when G2 start playing side lanes or the 1-4 with this combo.
I mean, Vitality opted into this matchup as well. They knew the Akali had been locked. They said, okay, we'll take the LeBlanc. 20 CS differential between those two mid laners. And the mid lane matchup is one we have to talk about when we talk about G2 versus Vitality. Caps up against Jizuke. Both these players at the top of their game right now. And in the running, I think Caps is definitely the best player in the LEC, probably in the West. Jizuke is challenging to be that second best mid laner in Europe.
I mean, but he's just not having the same impact that Caps is having. You know, the fact that Caps was able to get the rotate, help out Wonder in the early plays, now finds the kill there. Because what this does is it delays Jizuke's impact to the rest of the map. You know, if he's focused on this 2v2 against Caps, he's not helping his bottom lane.
Yanko's just being round the corner every single time. Mickey takes a bit of a culling, but the hook doesn't quite connect onto Jack Troll. Perks farming up the Krugs, doing what he can to keep that gold in his back pocket. Has the Kleptomancy, of course, so it's actually about even on gold with Attila, even though Attila has that extra kill. Caps dodges out the chains, and we said this last week, and I think the word for Caps for me is miraculous, right? He's the guy that just makes these plays. Attila gets so much damage on the Perks. Mickey doesn't hit the hook. A chase up onto Yankos here as well on the top side of...
Here comes Wonder.
Bottom side of the map. There's Wonder, as you say. He did come into the lane, and he didn't really do too much, but he clears out the wave. And this gives you pressure to push into the enemy jungle if you wish.
Vitality need to stop flirting with whatever's happening in this mid lane and actually just rotate bottom and force that tower down.
I quite like the flirtation.
It's making me very nervous.
Understandable, understandable. Smite comes out. Oh, he stole it away. Mowgli with the mechanics. Says, Yankos, you can press R, but I can press D ever so slightly quicker.
I mean, he's always going to have to respect this Olaf in the jungle.
There is the first tower of the game, though, for Vitality. They utilize their bot lane pressure. Before the 15-minute mark, they get it. Rift Herald comes down mid. No plates will be got from this Rift Herald, which is always important. However, they should get the damage down. Caps jumps in. Jizuke jumps across. The perfect execution chase is there. Mowgli is coming just in from the side as well. Teleport in from Cabochard, has the equalizer, counter teleport will use, but Cabochard now not in the best of shapes because Jankos and Perks can just turn straight onto him. Attila also going to get called out as well. Cabochard down, pops the equalizer, but he's already dead. Attila has the flash, and Vitality licking their wounds. They save the mid lane tower, but only just.
Completely different page on that teleport there. Cabochard is level 11. He's got 2 points into the ultimate. That's the power window that you want to fight in, but if the rest of Vitality aren't on the same page and capitalizing when you teleport into the backline, it's a super easy decision for G2 to just turn around and say, mid tower is ours, you can't cancel that teleport, Rumble's life is ours, and now it's 2 minutes to Infernal, and we're starting to build up a gold lead.
Yep, about 1,000 gold already for G2 ahead. Let's just have a look at those gold leads for the individual laners as Caps takes a culling, but he's just going to turn on to Attila, can use that 5-point strike. I'm really focused on that bottom lane because you thought Pokes would be a lot further behind, only about 200 gold behind because of the Kleptomancy. 1,000 gold lead already for Caps in that mid lane.
You know, Upset said it best on Euphoria when we had him. He felt that Attila was really just kind of a hammer off the bottom lane. He likes to beat you down, constantly be in your face and be hyper aggressive, but that means that he's not denying you CS, so there's no big CS discrepancy. It's just been bloodshed back and forth between Ezreal and Lucian.
Yeah, and Cabochard teleporting into his death probably didn't help the team too much. He's always been, well, across the course of this split, he's been one of the key players for Vitality, the standout performance, I think you could even say. Probably even in the running for best top laner in Europe, alongside Wonder. I think Wonder doesn't have the opportunity to shine quite as much because the rest of his team tends to shine a lot, but this game he's definitely showing up pretty well.
He's not finding the same success on Rumble as he did with the Jace and the Cannon.
No, he is not. Jankos says, that's my Rift Scuttler. I'm just going to put the Skittles down, and actually the Equalizer will do quite a bit of damage here. Wonder coming in as well. Cabochard looking for that Blast Cone, put in the Cataclysm, uses the Blast Cone to get away, but Perks can still get to the chase up here. True Shot Barrage eats through the Rumble, and that is a very dead top laner. Vitality trying to do something on the top side of the map, though, but can you catch Caps? Because up until now, it's been a very difficult prospect. Chizuke jumps under the tower. Okay, Chizuke's dead to the Requiem. Jankos gets it. And yeah, you can't kill Caps. Don't gank Caps. It's like, don't chase Singe. Don't gank Caps. They're going to try and do it again. Here we go. Jack Troll takes it up. Teleport comes in. Jack Troll runs away. Vitality run away. And Caps did nothing in the entirety. He literally just stood under the tower and said, come at me. Mickey with the flash play in. Caps still there as well. That's a very dead Thresh. We're going to pay for it with a couple of lives at least. Caps still on the chase. Jumps all the way back to the Twilight Shroud. And G2 once again come out on top with 2 kills for 1.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Jankos is like, I guess I'll just solo the Infernal. So there was so much that went wrong for Vitality there. It was the decision for Cabo to be in the river without his team. He gives away his ultimate. It automatically means that they have no access to Infernal. You can't find it. You don't have Rumble ultimate. And then they double down on poor choices by trying to fight and dive Caps. Excellent turnaround with that Requiem Akali combo, and an even better follow-up with the teleport to help Caps continue to pick up kills. So they're very quickly starting to bleed out as soon as this this lane phase has ended, and we're starting to make mid-game decisions.
I have another look at this because the micro interactions between the Kali and the LeBlanc are quite interesting. You can see Chizuke just trying to get to his team. Caps gets enough damage down with the chase. And then after that, it's just like Vitality should not invest anything more into that. Chizuke is so low once again. Forced away, passive comes out. That is the clone. Wonder might look for the engage, but realizes now that it's a clone. Can just jump onto Cabochard and Jack Troll if he wants. Pops them in the Cataclysm, puts them in this Doom room as Jankos comes in as well. There's so much damage from the Defile. The Redemption comes out, already 1 down. Wonder is the one to fall. He gives over a bounty to Vitality. Chizuke picks it up, but Caps on the chase. Jumping forward with the Shuriken, pops down that Twilight Shroud as well. He's going to get Mowgli for himself. 3-1-4 on the Akali, and that first pick is coming up dividends for G2.
G2 just slamming Vitality into the meat grinder. Again, we talked about how Jarvan can work against champions like Olaf, work against champions like Rumble, but how he works with champions like Karthus.
Caps jumps in onto Attila. They're just looking for the tower, but Caps is just in the middle of all 4 players. Perfect execution onto the Lantern.
Oh no!
Chizuke jumps all the way in, though can't quite find the connection. And Caps is showing Perks how you use the Lantern effectively.
Is anyone going to stop Caps?
No.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh, they all survive! It is an indictment on the state of this game that Vitality fans are cheering because they didn't die to a Requiem.
But the problem is that they still lost their mid tower, and at this point in the game, this is when Karthus is just going to become so obnoxious. 4-0-5, all he needs to do is when they want to siege a tower, you don't have to kill anyone, you just gotta press R, and they must respect Caps.
We've just got past that early game portion where Vitality had the advantage. Whippo said it best on the desk. If Vitality do not get ahead in the early game, they basically have nothing. You're playing into an Akali, you're playing into a Karthus, and they can just do so much work.
So
Jizuke's on a ward,
Yeah, we get to see how and what happened to Jizuke earlier on. This is where we came back in previously, so like you said, it's just good vision from G2 to catch him out. And Jizuke is doing the right thing. He's trying to look for picks here for someone to walk unsuspecting into the LeBlanc, but just not having the vision denial to play that way.
And here you think, great equalizer position. You've got them locked up. You've got Jizuke, but you can't quite get enough damage down.
But it's also, again, how well Jarvan works with Karthus. You just make a little basketball hoop and you just start dunking on kids. Just popping in Skittles.
It's like trying to throw them in someone's mouth from across the room.
That always ends up in my eye.
Interesting.
Fun fact.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Have you tried having depth perception?
No.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I think the thing with G2 is, as a team, the best way I can describe them is G2 is kind of like, they're playing the game that everyone else is playing for the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game, and then they just say, okay, we're going to win now, and in the next 5 to 7 minutes, they just tend to win the game. So that's what I'm expecting now, right? They're about 4,000 gold ahead, which is a big lead, but not monumental. And I'm expecting G2 to just find a fight, get Baron, and win the game in the next 5 minutes.
I mean, that's what we expect, but you can see that Vitality still have a lot of fight in them, and I just find it, I mean, the courage that it takes for a team to ever look at someone like G2 and say, let's test our limits against these guys, let's try to take early, scrappy fights against them. Like, credit to Vitality, they tried to take it to G2, but just showcasing how they're so strong mechanically. That collapse onto the blue buff was really the big swing for G2.
Exactly. I feel like there's a chasm between G2 and the rest of the chasing pack. Schalke may be pushing up towards it now, but still I feel there's a disparity between the skill of those teams, and then everyone else is fighting for second place at the moment. Of course, we are only just about coming up to the halfway mark of the split, so there's still a lot of work left to do. But as you say, yeah, Perks now sitting at 2 items, almost got the Blade of the Ruin King up as well. You can see G2 just continually snowballing that gold away.
I think it begs the question that if someone is going to take down G2, that you can't do it through G2's style. If you actually just try to go toe-to-toe with them and just like out-mechanic them, you just get slapped down every single time. And so the question is, you know, if G2 finally go down, is it because someone tries to play a different strategy around them? Maybe Schalke is the answer by playing these slow, patient, methodical, Baron-oriented games as opposed to trying to step toe-to-toe in lane phase.
But yeah, that's the question as well. If you don't step toe-to-toe, do they just take too much of you in lane phase? Like, if they're willing just to have caps on Akali and he's making 1v1 plays because you picked a scaling mid, it feels like they accelerate the game even quicker than you can ever catch up in the late game. Vitality do still have a shot, of course. 4,000 gold behind, but you've got that big team fight presence. You've got the LeBlanc, you've got the equalizer.
And they are feeling good about fighting over this dragon. This is kind of the one last hurrah that they have. You can see the confidence. They've got the vision control. They've already placed their control wards. They're trying to bait G2 into it. So how do they play around the Karthus, and how do they play around this Akali?
Caps put the Shuriken onto Jack Troll. Not going to go for it. There's the culling as well. Hits onto Perks. Takes a little bit of his health bar down, but not enough. Attila took more in response. Jizuke gets the chains. That's a chunked out Mickey.
The problem is that even if you get vision control away from this comp,
I love the start with the Requiem, because immediately Caps just jumps in. That is a dead Lucian. Jizuke tries to get onto the back line, but he can't even kill Jankos. He gets chunked out as well. Perks is on a killing spree. Mickey gets the kill onto Jizuke, and this is just clean stuff from G2. Absolutely beautiful League of Legends, playing their composition to a T.
no!
I love it from Gavashan. He's just like, mate, I'm out. I'm yeeting out of here, and eventually just gets knocked up anyway. It's the ace for G2. And you know what I said 1 minute ago, Fosk? What did I say? I say, oh, G2, they get to about this point in the game and then they just win. What are they doing? They're just winning the game.
There are absolutely no survivors there. G2 just wiped the floor with them. What I was about to say is if you do manage to deny all of the vision from G2, this composition has so many great ways to check vision. Between just throwing out the poke, between the Ezreal, you can throw out your flag, see what you fish there. You got the Lantern from Thresh as well as his Death Sentence. Like, there's so much non-committal abilities to just kind of fish for it, and then opening up with the Requiem to just say, I mean, we know they're in there. Yep. Let's just go in anyway.
This replay brought to you by Alienware and the letter R.
For Requiem?
For Requiem and for Perfect Execution, because you press it to jump onto the backline.
Just disgusting.
It's disgusting, right? It's disgusting, because the problem for Vitality is they have to make a play like this. They have to do something, and Cabashad, like, he's trying to get out. He's like, nah, mate, I'm done. And then in the end, he is done.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Please. Sacrifice was for the good of the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah, I feel you there, Jitsuke.
Yeah. I think anyone playing G2 feels like that at the moment.
What can you do?
They're just mechanically better. It's like if you put a gold player versus a diamond player, right? Like 9 times out of 10, a diamond player wins just because they seem to know the game better than you, and you can't really understand how it is. But G2 are definitely a cut above everyone else in the LEC.
But now it's time for Fnatic Death Brush.
Can we call it that?
Well, maybe.
It's the Vitality Death Brush.
Who's
Control
gonna
what
face
comes
check?
out. Here we go, here we go. Vision toggle.
Who's being
Caps.
hunted,
Oh, is
wait?
it going to be Caps? It's going to be, oh no. That's a shame, guys. I'm sorry, G2 are just going to keep winning for a while.
It was a good run.
It was, I love it. Vitality like, guys, we have the perfect plan. The only way it can be defeated is if they use their trinkets.
It was a good 30-second window where we had a hope.
And now they've got a magic 8 ball there. It's like shaking it. What do we do next? What do we do next? Try again later. Okay.
Meanwhile, G2 applying Baron in every single lane, continuing to eat up more and more of this map, get farther and farther ahead.
10,000 gold lead at the moment for G2. Look at the items as well. Hextech Gunblade, Morello Nomicon, Rabadon's finished on the Karthus. You've got Redemption on Jarvan, for goodness sake, right? He's just like, just heal my team a little bit more. And look at that, Caps underperforming. Less than 10,000 damage in this game. It's just a disgrace, Caps. Come on, step it up. Stunned up in the Twilight Shroud.
He's 1v3!
Welcome to a Twilight Shroud. Wonder pushing in the bottom lane. Top lane is being pushed in by Perks and Mickey. I think Karthus is up there as well. Here comes the Requiem. Say a prayer to the gods, Vitality, because Cabochon almost gets 1-degged. That is the tower going down. G2 already got the inhib in the bottom lane, looking for the inhib in mid as well, can push towards the top lane, and Vitality don't have a hope in hell of doing anything this game. Jackshot's going to jump in, but there's the Twilight Shroud once again. Caps clicks the lantern, no amount of wards can stop him. Redemption comes out as well, Perks jumping forward. Maybe Vitality can do something, Suzuki gets onto Perks. Perks is unstoppable though, he gets one, that's a second for Wonder, and Vitality's going to get cleaned up in their own base. Caps goes golden, and Attila and Suzuki just trying to get something. They get him! They fell Caps before G2 clean up the ace. This will be the final inhibitor down, and G2 in our match of the week show they are without parallel at the moment in the LEC. No one can stop them. No one can stand up to the G2 army.
It didn't even look hard. All smiles across G2. They absolutely spanked Vitality there.
It was a spanking. I think that's the best way to describe it. I thought maybe that the chaos style that we know from Vitality would bring G2 down into the dirt, but G2 is just like, we were born in the dirt. We were molded by it. We can do chaos style every day of the week.
But the thing is I think that doesn't give actual credit to G2 and how crisp and clean their strategy was, how well the synergy between the different pieces of their composition worked. The fact that you have, Akali versus Thresh and some of the interactions there, that she can hide herself in the Shroud and then you just drop the Lantern. It makes it that much harder to actually kill the Akali if you ever do catch her out of position. The fact of how well Karthus and Jarvan work together by locking everyone down into your massive AoE damage. It's so many different pieces that come together for G2, and then you put on top of it the fact that they have such high mechanical abilities in every single position.
I think it's always hard to say there were weaknesses in that team when they dominate that well. But I think if you are looking for one point where G2 did not play totally perfectly optimally, you do have to look at Perks' laning phase, because he really struggled in that lane. He took too much damage at times, and yes, he made up for it. He played very well in the mid and late game, but that early portion of the game into Lucian Braun, which is a hard lane, he did struggle.
I mean, you teach them, you temper the aggression. You never want to teach your players aggression because it's something that can't be taught. You either have the bloodlust or you don't have it. So while Mickey and Perks have maybe burnt themselves a little bit in being hyper aggressive, they did trade back and forth rather well. Attila and Jack Troll had the Lucian Braum. They were still burning multiple summoner spells all the time. Perks never fell behind in CS. He opened up so many opportunities for Jankos to capitalize onto the gank. So, maybe it's not the cleanest that it could have been, but if you're never pressured, does it matter?
And when the rest of the team is so good, you have the room to make those mistakes, knowing that those other players can step up if you fall too far behind, right? Caps and Perks will be joining us in the LEC post-game lobby, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that there is such almost a mysterious quality around G2 now.
Is it mysterious?
It's what's...
The thing is, we keep building up G2 as like this super villain mastermind. They're like in the evil lair and they're just like plotting everyone's destruction. But then you look at them and they're just like cackling. They're jovial.
But that's why they're so good at being villains, because they don't look villainous at all.
They're actually just like Jack from The Incredibles, where they just have all of the abilities.
Just like Caps is going invisible over here, Perks is spewing fire over there. Got sonic waves, alternate dimensions, everything's happening.
It's cute and it's adorable and you want to love it, but meanwhile it's murdering everything.
I mean, makes a lot of sense. For our match of the week, you can vote for either Jankos, Caps, or Mickey in our Kia Player of the Game vote. So what are you waiting for? Go on over to LOL at LOL Esports on Twitter and vote.
I'm going to give it a solid Jankos R button.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we've had a Blast Cone win the game previously, and now it's Jankos R button. I think I agree with you, generally. I think that was a very good play overall from Jankos. Of course, commiserations to Vitality on their loss, but let's get together with G2's top laner and their jungler and see what they have to say.